Hey everyone, it's Blue Blade Studios and welcome to episode 23 of Blue Blade's Christmas Cinema. For today's episode, we're going to talk about my all-time favorite Christmas movie, The Polar Express. So Polar Express was one of the very first Christmas movies that I ever watched. I watched this film religiously. Even when it wasn't the Christmas season, I watched this film so much because I just loved it so much. There are so many things that I love about this film, so this might be one of the longer episodes. But before we talk about that, let's do what we always do and talk about the story. On the night of Christmas Eve, a young boy named the Hero Boy is lying in his bed waiting for Santa to come to his house and deliver all of his presents. But the Hero Boy is having doubts about Santa and several other things about Christmas that he's having trouble believing in several things now. As he's trying to sleep, he's awakened by a very, very loud noise. He goes outside and finds a giant steam train in front of his house, and then he sees a conductor. The conductor tells him that this is the Polar Express and that they'll be going to the North Pole, and asks him if he wants to get on board. He's hesitant at first, but eventually he gets on.
Well, you coming?
Where?
Why, to the North Pole, of course. This is the Polar Express.
It's here where I like to think that the film is divided into two separate parts. The first part being the journey to the North Pole, and the second part being when they're at the North Pole. On the journey to the North Pole, the Hero Boy ends up meeting several other kids on the train too, including the Hero Girl, Billy, and the Know-It-All Kid. Several events happen on their way to the North Pole, but eventually they end up arriving at the North Pole safe and sound. But once they get there, the Hero Boy, Hero Girl, and Billy have a little accident with one of the train cars, and eventually they're transported to a building that is essentially the elves' headquarters, where they see how the elves track the children who are naughty and nice. They eventually get out of the elves' headquarters thanks to accidentally falling into Santa's toy sack. The Hero Boy, Hero Girl, and Billy reunite with the conductor and all the other kids, just as Santa makes his big appearance. The Hero Boy desperately wants to believe and eventually finds one of the bells that was strapped to the reindeer. He picks up the bell and is then found by Santa, who then decides that he will get the first gift of Christmas, and the first gift is the bell. But unfortunately, the Hero Boy loses the bell before he gets on the train. All the kids are taken home, including the Hero Boy and the Hero Girl and Billy and everyone else. And when he gets home, he goes to sleep, and in the morning he wakes up, opens up all of his presents, and finds that one present is a small little box that contains none other than the sleigh bell. The Hero Boy delivers a little monologue in adult form where he basically says that everyone stopped believing except for him, and that he will always choose to believe. The Polar Express is mainly a story about believing, and I think this film does it very well. Now, there are lots of things about this film that I absolutely love, one of which is a couple of the characters. The Hero Boy, Hero Girl, and Billy were my favorites at one point, but now as I've gotten older, I've noticed more of the other characters, and I gotta say I like them more. But that being said, as leads, they're pretty good. The Hero Boy and Hero Girl are a little bit opposites, with the boy not believing in much, and the girl believing everything about Christmas, and believing in all Christmas spirit. And Billy doesn't come from the greatest household and desperately wants a present for Christmas. And eventually when they're at the North Pole, he finds that, yeah, there's this really big present for me. And when he eventually is taken back to his home, the present's right there for him, and it's just nice to see. The Know-It-All Kid stands on the line between being funny and being annoying. It's just very hard to tell which one he leans more to, but for me, I think he's okay. Funny enough, I actually knew a kid in high school who looked just like the Know-It-All Kid.
Do you know what kind of train this is?
Fun times. My two favorite characters in this movie are without a doubt the conductor and the hobo who's living on the Polar Express. Similar to how Jim Carrey played several people in A Christmas Carol, Tom Hanks plays several people in the Polar Express. He plays the conductor, Santa, the hobo, the Hero Boy's dad, and even did the motion capture for the Hero Boy. The conductor is just absolutely entertaining in every scene. Some of the stuff that he says is just very funny. I also like the conductor's relationship with the Hero Boy as well, and just how annoyed he is at the Hero Boy of everything that he does. When he pulls the emergency brake, he loses it. When he stops the train from hitting the herd of caribou, he's absolutely just furious at him. And I really love the fact that when they get to the North Pole, he cries tears of joy. The hobo's another character that I think is really good. I love how crazy he is, and just some of the stuff that he says is also funny as well. And the whole thing with him technically being a ghost is also really clever as well. Now, similar to Jim Carrey's A Christmas Carol, this film was also directed by Robert Zemeckis and has the same animation style, except this came before A Christmas Carol. I've seen some people say that the animation in this movie is ugly and just not good. In my opinion, it's not as ugly as everyone says it is. I don't even really think it's ugly in general. But I definitely think it hasn't aged the best. Certain things look great, like the backgrounds look amazing, and the humans look okay to me. But I definitely see the fact that this film has aged. This film is over 20 years old. It's not going to look perfect. So, it has that. But it's really not as bad as everyone says it is, and I absolutely love the behind the scenes, how it's done with motion capture. It's a very interesting style of animation. It's not the greatest animation, but it's definitely unique and definitely gives this movie a whole different feel as opposed to several other animated movies. And when it comes to the backgrounds of this movie, I think they are so great. From the winter landscapes that the train travels across, to the North Pole and how it looks. They are so well detailed and look so real to me. I absolutely love them. The music in this movie is also something I really like, from the instrumentals to the lyrical songs. The main theme of A Polar Express is one that I absolutely love. I love how just Christmassy it feels, and the orchestra in it. It's just so great. And I can't be the only one that also thinks that it sounds a bit like a certain piece of music from Elf. And the song that the hero girl and Billy sing when Christmas comes to town is one of my favorite Christmas songs from a movie. There's something about it that just makes me feel so calm and very happy. And of course, I can't forget the song about hot chocolate. The way that the waiters dance and how the conductor sings is just so entertaining to watch, and although When Christmas Comes to Town is my personal favorite song, I have to say that this is probably the best song in the movie. When it comes to both parts on the journey to the North Pole and them actually at the North Pole, I like the journey way more. Even the first scene of the movie I absolutely love, when the boy sees the train and it just unveils itself from a cloud of steam and you just see this gigantic steam train that's just so grand, like it's so cool. The emergency brake scene's also good too, and I just love how the know-it-all kid completely rats out the hero boy.
Who in the blazes applied that emergency brake?
He did!
You.
The scene where the hero boy loses the hero girl's ticket and it goes through the winter landscapes, just the shot of the wolves with the train going by is such a great shot. The eagle flying through the landscape is another good shot as well, and when the ticket falls down and it hits the train, the whole look of the train is just amazing. You just see the size and power of it. And the sound design on it is amazing too. I would have loved to seen this movie in the theaters just to hear the sound of the train whistle and the rumbling on the tracks. That would have been so cool to hear in theaters. When the hero boy and the hobo are skiing to the engine before they reach the tunnel is a really entertaining and thrilling scene. The caribou scene is honestly kind of funny, especially how they get the caribou out of the way. And after the caribou comes my two favorite scenes in the movie, which I always like to pair together. The first part is when the Polar Express defies all laws of physics by traveling at high speeds across probably the most dangerous railway ever. This scene is just amazing. And watching this whole scene really just makes me think, how the hell did they build this railway? Like, you actually see some of the supports on the arches, and they're absolutely massive. Like, this railway is so unsafe. An accident on this could cause nothing but confusion and delay. But by far, my favorite scene in the entire movie is the scene on the ice. After speeding on the most dangerous line in history, the train ends up on a frozen lake. The ice is starting to crack, and the train must outrun it and get to a set of tracks on land before it goes under. This is the pure definition of a thrilling scene. The sound design's amazing from the ice and the train, and it really just makes you root for the train, hoping it gets to the end, and thankfully, it does. The scene has also been turned into a bit of a meme, with some people putting Tokyo Drift over it, or Rob Zombie's Dragula, or that Running in the 90s song. It's just a very popular scene for memes. In my opinion, best scene in the movie. Just absolutely amazing. Also, that scene with the Scrooge puppet's a little weird and creepy. That's all I gotta say about that. And while I said I like these scenes more than everything that happens at the North Pole, the North Pole section does have some pretty good scenes. Mainly the scenes where the kids are in the runaway train car, and also when they're in the elf headquarters, they get to the part where they get the presents to the giant sack, and they go down these slides. That's a pretty fun scene as well. Now, a couple things about the Polar Express is that it was actually based on a book from 1985. How do I know this? Because I have the book, more specifically the 20th anniversary version, which has a DVD that has Liam Neeson reading the story. And something interesting is that we actually do have an idea of where and when the Polar Express takes place. The where part is easier. It's Grand Rapids, Michigan, as they pass by a little store called Herpelsheimer's, which was a real store in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And when it comes to the part of when the Polar Express takes place, I think I have a good idea of when. In the beginning, the hero boy is looking at a magazine that has the date of December 29th, 1956 written on it. The actual movie takes place on December 24th, Christmas Eve. So, with this most likely being a magazine from last year, then I would have to say that the Polar Express takes place on December 24th, 1957. And you know how the girl says that the Polar Express is a magic train?
It's a magic train.
It kind of is, because it keeps spawning a certain amount of train cars. In the beginning, we see 5 train cars, but when it goes by the scene with the wolves, there's like 15 to 20 cars. So my overall thoughts on Polar Express, I love it. After all, it's my favorite Christmas movie. There's so many things I just love about this movie. I love the characters, I love the music, I even love the animation. I love so many scenes about this film. There's just so much I love about this movie. If I was to take all the films I've done across this series and order them from my least favorite to my favorite, this is number 1. Without a doubt, my favorite Christmas movie ever. And I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, which is only like 10% of the population on Earth, watch it. It is amazing. And yeah, that was episode 23 of Blue Blades Christmas Cinema, my favorite episode yet, because we're talking about my favorite Christmas movie, of course. We still have 2 more left, so stay tuned for those. Until then, this is Blue Blade Studios, signing off. And if you'll excuse me, I've got a train to catch.